All right, guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio, 13th day of May, Monday. Month is almost half over. It's flying by. And I want to welcome everybody back from Gary Hindershot's Smart Scarecrow Alternative Energy Hour. It was my pleasure to sit in and shoot the breeze with them a little bit on that one, even though we did drift certainly off topic of alternative energy, but it was fun. It's always a nice benefit to the program to have Gary come on here and do his deal, as well as it is Karen Quintos on Friday nights for 2 hours, 5 o'clock west to 7 o'clock east is Karen's gig. Gary's, of course, is Monday, and then on Thursdays you can hear him on Justin TV on the Smart Scarecrow program. Google Smart Scarecrow, and they'll find him no problem. And of course, I want to thank Eric the Lovely, who's a co-host on Tuesday. He'll be here tomorrow night and Thursday, and Bonnie Bowman, who is the webmaster of WideAwakeNews.com. These are the people who work tirelessly for absolutely free to bring you programming every single night and align our guests and make sure that everything goes out with a nice, clean feed most of the time. And we always have good, informative people to come on here and talk to us. And to that point, I want to introduce back to the program Bob Fletcher. It's been a little bit of time since he's been on. If you don't remember Bob or you haven't heard him before, you are in for, I don't want to say a treat because he's been through a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily a treat. However, he is a wealth of knowledge. Everything from Iran-Contra on to the present. He has seemed either been involved with, testified before Congress on, or had intimate knowledge of the inner workings of the corrupt elite. And it's always informative to get Bob on the program and show us that this reality that a lot of people are waking up to now, which is corruption is dominant in our political system and financial system and economic system. It isn't anything new. It's been here for a while. Bob might agree with me that it's getting far, far out of control and a lot worse and more tyrannical, but it's been brewing and building and built upon itself for quite some time. Bob Fletcher, welcome back to the program. His website, real quick, if I give the wrong one out here, you just let me know. BobFletcherInvestigations.com is what I have for you, Bob.
That's correct. That's our website, and we've got to diligently get in and kind of do a major update on that website. But nonetheless, it was set up, primarily kind of as a news information point, but also to let people know what investigations we have available for them if they're interested. Most of the, not most of them, but some of the biggest and most amazing investigations I've been involved with over the last several years are in a DVD form as a report, and quite often they were, as a matter of fact, done like at the request of somebody in the Senate or Congress or something, one of the few that may be honest up there, and of course that's a dwindling number. But quite often I would do a report and then kind of put it down into a DVD form. So we have, think about 8 or 9 of those available if folks are interested. And again,
it's BobFletcherInvestigations.com. That all that information's or all those resources are available there.
Right. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of what I wanted to talk at least a little bit about. I actually had a brand new report that I've been working on, and it should have been done 6 or 8 months ago. Actually, almost a year ago at this point in time, because it should have taken a few months to put together in a proper form, to be interesting and educational all at the same time, and informative as to what's going on. And for some reason, something is going on. If of course, people think, those of us that are involved with investigating conspiracies and things of that sort, as soon as you put on the word conspiracy, the bad guys in government have everybody psyched out so that if you can attach the word conspiracy to anything, well, then it's a bunch of bull. And that's what they want to be able to do, to simply say, oh, this is a conspiracy, something, and then everybody just says, oh, that guy's a nutcase or whatever. But those of us who, like myself, who have been in the middle of some of these operations, literally, and those of us who have testified before the Senate and the Congress, have been sworn federal witnesses, have had people try to kill us a few times, and that type of a background, it kind of changes it. There are real conspiracies, and if a few people get together, decide to take advantage of other people, that becomes conspiratorial. And those of us who genuinely investigate it, we are investigators as opposed to conspiracy screwballs. So there's that kind of separation there. But to get back to my point, I was putting together, and I still am, I've been working on this DVD report, and it's to go to some congressmen, a few up there, like I say, that may still be honest. I had done work, a perfect example, some very serious work for Sonny Bono when he was up there. He was about to do a major investigation, launch a major investigation, which was going to include subpoenas for the people that were going to be coming up to testify. That doesn't usually happen with congressional inquiries, because the last thing all the rest of the crooked congressmen want is to be obligated to answer a question. And if you have a subpoena structure, you either answer the question or we can lock you up until you decide to cooperate. So we had set this up. I had worked for quite a while, turned this major investigation into Sonny, which was mostly drug operations and murders and that type of thing.
I was going to ask you, cover that a little bit, because it's been a while since you've been on, but you're talking about facilitating this investigation involving Sonny Bono, who was later killed.
He was killed. He was murdered. Yes.
Well, what was the guts of the investigation?
Well,
right?
the guts of it was the proof and direct connection of major drug operations spanning many years, and of course illegal weapons and sales of weapons in the middle of it too. But the drug smuggling and the murders connected to that, and connecting those right into 2 or 3 presidential offices, both the left and the right, and again, of course, an awful lot of it spin-off from the old Iran-Contra stuff, which actually was also a spin-off of the drug operations of Air America during the Vietnam War. So it goes way back that far, but all of those people, or many of those people that had been involved with all of those, were still seated in high-level bureaucratic and appointed positions in government. We had names, we had testimony of actual.
Hello?
I think we just lost Bob.
We did?
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
And he was bragging on how good his connection was, too.
Yeah, it looks like, are you reconnecting with him there, it looks like?
Yeah.
I apologize for the jump out on camera there, folks. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
Okay.
I had a power cord failure announced on my computer screen here, so I went and grabbed a new one.
I think I got Bob back. Are you there, Bob?
I'm showing it busy on my screen, so we're it looks like just a few seconds away from the break, so we'll try to reestablish. Bob Fletcher, like I said, very interesting. We just start talking, and he's instantly into this investigation that a lot of people believe that led to the demise of Sonny Bono. Guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. My name is Charlie McGrath. It's the 13th day of May, Monday. Be great. I absolutely love having him on, because it's kind of like I can sit back, which is really unusual, and not say anything, because Bob Fletcher can sit here and tell me stories, and every time he's on here, I learn something new. I apologize for our technical issues we had in the last minute of the first segment of this second hour. I had a power cord failure, and then we lost connection also with Mr. Fletcher. So we've got the problems fixed, and we're going to continue our conversation. I do want to put out a quick mention that Wide Awake News Radio, wideawakenews.com, has we have sponsored, or we've joined partners with a new emergency food company, an emergency storable GMO-free food company. It is Nuvana, and I have nothing but great things to say about this company. And coming up in the next segment, I'm going to offer an on-air special. They just launched today. These are people I know. I've been to the factory of this facility, and it's a lot of great things coming out of these guys. So Nuvana is the line, and I will have a special offer coming up here in the next segment. Bob Fletcher, please continue. We were talking about Sonny Bono and this investigation, and you were instrumental in providing this information. Then he's dead.
Right. Yes, it really bothered me, as a matter of fact, because I genuinely believe he was murdered on the basis of what the material that was mine, that we were about to launch this major investigation with. There's no question in my mind. This would have been one of the biggest investigations to ever hit Washington, D.C., and it would have turned people out. It would have been earth-shattering in terms of the ramifications coming out of it. And like I said, people can actually get a copy, pretty much an overview of what I had turned to Sonny at my website, and it's Drugs and CIA and Government Corruption. It's number 4 in my little catalog there, and it is also available is my investigations secondarily after Sonny was murdered. He was killed literally 15 days before we were going to launch this inquiry itself. The official launching would have taken place as soon as Sonny got back from what was the Christmas holidays, and of course they reported and told everybody and convinced them that he had run into a tree and been killed that way. It's completely ridiculous. Sonny was, first off, if nothing else, he was an expert skier. I mean, could have trained people professionally on skis, and also was totally familiar with where he was, etc. But that's not even a big point. I'm not even going to get into all of it. It's very clear in the report that I did put together afterwards on a DVD form, but which includes his entire autopsy, which unto itself shows that in fact it was murder. It's kind of one of these things. If you do this autopsy, and there's all these different things that just completely throws the idea of him dying accidentally, striking a tree, throws that all in the trash, and then afterwards they say accidental death. So anyhow, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But won't get into much more with that. But what I was talking about was that been working on a new report. I'm still working on it. Hopefully, I'll get it finished pretty quick now. But what has been going on, which really bothers me a little bit. If I was a conspiracy nut case, I would be thinking something was externally affecting this thing. But I think this will be probably the most important report that investigative report that I've ever done. But what has happened was, as I would proceed, I've ended up losing probably 4 computers doing this. They've crashed on me. The last 2 computers crashed in the last few weeks. One of them that was brand new, a couple of weeks old, and I had fortunately had salvaged most everything out of the other ones that had crashed. What I'm talking about is, of course, actually several years of information, photographs, videos, interviews, and all of that kind of stuff that goes into my reports. And all these great one-person discoveries, so to speak. And I had this constantly just crashing, falling apart on me, and I would lose stuff and try to regain it. A couple of weeks ago, my computer crashed, so I went out and I got a brand new one. I had it for a couple of weeks, and it crashed. I went around circles with the company trying to get proper repairs, so they actually ended up sending a brand new hard drive to repair this thing, and brought in a technician that had to drive 100 miles, who's supposedly super guy.
Hold on a sec,
to
Bob.
Fix it.
Hold on one sec. I hate to cut you off, but I want to hear about this unfolding conspiracy. We'll be back with Bob Fletcher and more Wide Awake News Radio in just a minute. Please hang tight. Welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath, 13th day of May, Monday. Nuvana, premium GMO-free emergency foods. Nuvana, Nuvona. 25-year shelf-life, certified GMO-free, high in fiber, low cholesterol, low fat, low sodium, made in USA. I've been to the factory. Nitrogen flush pass, oxygen absorber, sea salt, vegetarian-friendly, no MSGs, no trans fats. These guys support alternative media. They support independent media. They are in the realm of people that are concerned about the future. And this is their new venture, and I want to support them, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. And these are the people, these are the entrepreneurs that are doing something for their own situation, and because they believe in helping their fellow man out. They believe in offering them something that they can put in their body that isn't going to make them ill in a crisis situation. We shouldn't have to eat junk and just rotten calories because we're in a crisis. So this is what we're going to do. Wide Awake News Radio, me and Bonnie, she doesn't know this yet, she's going to be mad at me. We are going to buy a sample kit for everybody who orders a sample kit. Let me explain. Premium 72-hour kit, 15 breakfast, 15 lunch, 15 dinner, 26 servings, a drink, and sides. It's regularly $169 on their promo offer, 24% off, $129. You buy the first three, I should say, and I've already contacted the factory here and let them know the first three orders that come in. You buy this $129 kit, regularly $169, and Wide Awake News Radio is going to buy you the breakfast, lunch, and dinner kit, which is 5 breakfast, 5 lunch, 5 dinner, retail value $49. $129, you're going to get the 72-hour kit. You could try this. I have tried the food. It's actually very, very, very delicious. You can try put the 72-hour kit in the closet and save it for emergency. But you're going to get the breakfast, lunch, and dinner sample kit absolutely free. The first 3. So I'm going to right now. And here's the other deal. You got to be in the chat room to get this deal. We have about 50, 60 people in there right now. I'm going to put the link into the chat room. Now, you know what? That ain't fair. That ain't fair because there's a lot of people that just don't enjoy the chat. So I'm going to give you the link. It is Nuvona, Nuvona, .wideawakenews.com. Nuvona.wideawakenews.com. Go there. I'll put the link in the chat if you're in chat. Get the 72-hour kit, and you're going to get a free $50 breakfast kit, the sample kit. So it's a great deal. I want to support these guys. I want to get them off to a good start. They just launched today. You will not be disappointed. Bob Fletcher, thank you very much for your patience and letting me do that little on-air commercial.
Sure enough. No, that's okay, because it's really important that people genuinely have your foodstuffs put away and be set up and be braced and be ready for some type of a situation coming down that maybe people couldn't even imagine. But I believe the proverbial poop is going to hit the fan. And
Bob, do you think that? And I'm taking you off track here. I want to get back.
Sure,
to
go ahead. No. Actually, you're not.
Okay. Do you think? And I want to cover this project because it's something you've been working on for a long time. But the people that I have on that have lived, right, and I mean they've seen it, and you're obviously in the category of the top that has been around and seen things. And you've spent a lot of time in independent states, the West, the Rocky Mountain West. Right now, you're up here with me, it seems that person, and a lot of our folks in the chat right now listening are in that category. They are more in tune with the reality that you just said. You better have something. You better be thinking about something. I don't care if you think the rapture is going to happen tomorrow or Yellowstone's going up. I think the people that are out of the frenzy of the coast and the illusion of control, the people that are outside of that realize it's palpable. Something's going to give. I don't know, a year, 5 years, 10 years, something's going to give, and you better be positioned yourself in a place to take care of yourself.
Right, and unfortunately, I'm probably not in the best place because of being reasonably close to, which you mentioned, Yellowstone.
Yeah.
But I'm almost too old to worry about it. So I'm I'm over 70 now, and so
I'm far too close to worry about it.
No, well,
I'm 80 miles away, brother. If it goes, I'm done.
Right. Well, you're in worse shape. That's correct, because I lived. Matter of fact, I also had a business. I had a business briefly. I don't know, whatever, maybe a year or so in that I owned. That was in Livingston, and Livingston, Montana. For people that don't realize it, Livingston, Montana is like literally you can throw a rock almost to Yellowstone. So
Paradise Valley. That's Paradise Valley.
Yeah, it's all great and beautiful, but when Yellowstone goes, it's kind of like literally sitting on the top of an atomic bomb. So it's not going to be too good. But to answer, to follow on your point. My report that I was talking about, that I'm working on, gets into this possibility of what's happening or what may or is going to take place. What I found out over the years of doing what I've been doing, investigating, being a federal witness and being involved with all of that, whatever, I had really gotten used to watching and seeing the crooked, the upper echelon banditos out of Washington, D.C. and around the world, stealing huge amounts of money in one way or another, whether it was setting up a synthetic war and then rushing in there with, to either start the war or stop the war or supply the weapons or supply both sides, and making money on all these corrupted manner by which they're able to do it, and even just money disappearing, they just have carte blanche. They have a blank check that they have in their lap, and we have supplied them with the funds for the bank account, and they do what they want to. They write money off in the millions and billions for all these top secret projects, transfer money from legitimate projects into top secret projects. We don't, and I also have to point this out, most of the congressmen in the United States Congress do not have the security clearances to even ask questions. So they don't know where some of the money's going. If you got 50 good congressmen up there out of 400 and whatever, and if you had 50 good ones, or you were positive, and they wanted to find out what was going on with the money, where it was going, and et cetera, they can't, because they're not cleared. They don't have that top secret clearance. See, and I mean, it's always a surprise if people say, "Oh, well, the congressman knows." No, they don't know, and unless they're, like I say, have the high level of clearance, which is a smaller number than we would like to know, they just can't find out about it. They just tell them, "Go take a hike. It's none of your business. You're not cleared. Go order some fish for next week." They just tell them to get out of their face. Okay, so I had gotten used to realizing, these multi-millions of dollars being defrauded and stolen here and there, and not even talking about the drugs and the arms and stuff, but in a variety of other ways that they're able to do this. Okay, so, but it started bothering me a little while back when I realized that the money was disappearing in billions and trillions. Now, wait a minute, because you can't even money launder $1 trillion. I mean, Pablo Escobar, the drug smuggler, for crying out loud, used to light his cigars with $100 bills, but he never would have attempted to move $1 trillion. How do you do that? And where would you go if you had stolen $1 trillion or a half a trillion or 50 billion? That kind of money, you can't. So I started looking into that, and I said, well, what's wrong with this picture? How can this much money be disappearing?
Hold on, we're going to talk about disappearing money.
Go ahead.
We're going to talk about disappearing money in 3 minutes with Bob Fletcher. We'll be right back. I want to get back into it because it's very interesting. Last segment, Wide Awake News Radio, Bob Fletcher is our guest, and we're talking about a laundered, hidden $1 trillion. And Bob Fletcher, during the break, if you're watching on Justin TV, he was given a breakdown, an account for where this money is being pumped into, and it's literally a hole. Bob, I know you just said it all, and I warned you. You're going to get to say it again. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the bottom line is I was looking, and it was gigantic amounts of money. And also, I will have to say this right out in front, forget the gold in the Federal Reserve. The gold is supposed to be in Fort Knox. That's gone. That is gone. And exactly where it's gone, I can't tell you. But the last time that was even looked at was like 1974, an audit that they did, and they didn't even do a real audit. They sent them in, and they had a couple of people that looked around at a handful of gold bullion in a single building, single room actually, and they came out and said, "Okay, all the money's there." And nobody's looked at that gold. That gold is gone. It's not there. Period. End of story. But I started looking into it, and I said, where in the world would all of this money go? And then I looked around, and I realized that worldwide, around every major group of the upper echelon people, the very highest level of people of government and banking, around the whole world, have been simultaneously digging holes in the ground with our money. They've gone in. They've even taken some of the original NORAD building into Cheyenne Mountain that used to be exclusively for the control and oversight of atomic weapons and all of that, and watching to see if nobody's sending rocket ships over here and going to bomb us with nukes from Russia or China or someplace for years and years. That stuff's all been yanked out of that. It's been moved over to Edwards Air Force Base. They no longer are doing it there. They are converting that into huge survival locations for the upper echelon. They have put in as many as 110 of these holes in the ground and holes in the sides of granite mountains in the United States alone. And it is survival locations for the upper echelon, highest level of government. Now, they call it the government continuity of government. A lot of it hit the fan when I was involved with the Iran-Contra investigations. It was brought up on the floor of the Congress that they had been heavily launching an expansion in 1987 that was called Rex 84.
Right.
And it was started back in 84. It was Ready Emergency Exercise, expansion of continuity government. And then, since then, they really have gotten going and rolling 100 miles an hour with hideouts for the upper echelon of the world. Now, Russia, about a year and a half ago to a year ago, they all of a sudden came out and they said, we are going to build 5,000 of these facilities to assist as hideouts, underground facilities for the people in Moscow. And they have been working on them. They have most of them done. They're not gigantic. They're not huge. Some of them are. Some of them are very big. But most of them, obviously, in terms of the numbers of 5,000, they're not these huge places. But they started doing it with the intent to have 5,000 completed from 2010 up until the beginning of this year, the 1st of 2013, and they have had most of them accomplished. They got the money from us. They get financial assistance from the United States. The Chinese have been doing something bizarre, and it fits into the same thing, though. The Chinese have built, I think it's 15 or 17 cities that are the size of like New York City. They are still building them as we speak. The bulk of them are finished, and all of them are empty. They can hold 15, 10, 8 million people, potentially. 15 cities, they are totally vacant. They are self-supporting cities. They're the same as New York, like going into Manhattan. They have high-rise buildings. They have water facilities, electronic generation of electronics, and all the rest of that. The same as downtown New York City, but they are all being maintained empty, other than security people to keep vandalism out. Now, there are my opinion is on the Chinese thing, which is, of course, very hard to get proof, other than the fact that you can see the cities are there. But underground, those major cities that have been constructed, I am sure, are also major underground facilities. So you have to step back right away and say, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? You know, these guys, instead of just stealing the money as they usually have done for the last 65, 70 years for their own personal benefit in one way or another, what's going on? So they are scared to death, mutually scared to death of something. And it is something that they know is coming, and it's going to be coming from outer space. And now what I'm talking about probably is the Planet X that people have been talking about. By the way, the X number, that stands for Roman numeral 10, the 10th planet out there that people have talked about for so many years, being on a huge elliptical orbit, and it's going to come swinging back through and pass through our orbit. And these people have taken these trillions of dollars and dug these giant holes. Now, you talk about the food, survival foods. A couple of years ago, Uncle Sam was putting so much of that freeze-dried food, had ordered so much of it, that the regular retail and wholesalers were unable to fill their orders from the big companies in America that were making them for about a year. All right, they got dribs and drabs. It's because Uncle Sam was grabbing 90% of everything that was being produced and putting it underground for themselves. And they've taken all of our money, all the taxpayers' money. They stamped all these projects top secret, tell you to go take a hike. You can't find out.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm not educated on, Nabiru, Planet X. I've heard all that, and
Okay.
I know that that there's a contingent for and against, and what is it? What is it? I mean,
okay. Basically, here's what it amounts to, and by the way, and I'm positively positive that's real, and that's probably the primary concern with these guys digging holes in the ground. I mean, otherwise you got to say, why are they doing that? Why in the world would they do that? They wouldn't. Yeah. They would just be stealing it and buying extra martinis for themselves, I mean, these guys. Martinis. Yeah, these guys are doing this. This is a real thing. This is a reality. I've been underground at the Denver airport.
Whoa! Wait! You've been under it?
Oh yes, sir. One of the biggest underground facilities in the country. It's gigantic.
I know that.
And I have been under there about the 90 days after they opened it up in 1995. They finished it to have it open as an airport in 1995. A few months after they opened it, I was able to sneak down, for the lack of a better word, got down, took a tram ride down around underneath there. It is a huge underground facility, which, by the way, today they are still working on it.
Yeah, I'm down there all the time, and I can, and matter of fact, I was down there a few months ago, and they had a big Anubis stat. I mean, first of all, the New World Order markings are everywhere.
Oh yeah, and that's all crazy. That's part of it also. All that stuff that's on the walls, and that's all part of it, et cetera, et cetera. What these? All right, let me answer your question on the planet, the Planet X.
Yes, sir.
What it was? It is a huge planet that literally is the 10th planet in our solar system, and it does this gigantic elliptical orbit way out. It comes around on the reverse direction from the rest of the planets, as a matter of fact. When one's going clockwise, they come in counterclockwise. It comes in, and it will come back through. It's like on a 2,600, 2,000 to 3,000 year orbit. That's how long it takes. It goes way out there and then comes zipping back through again. It's 5 times the size of Earth. When it comes through, and the point is, I am absolutely positive they know when to expect it, and they expect it fairly soon. They've bought all of these weapons everybody knows about. They have bought millions, actually billions of bullets and weapons.
That's the point.
Those are to control the rioting people that are going to want to be going into the underground, and they're not made for us. And when it hits the fan, there will be rioting across the world beyond. It'll make all these science fiction movies look like a joke. That's what the weapons are for. That's what all this. They're going to be bringing back. They're changing all the laws. They're putting these cameras. We had those guys that got caught real quick. The bombing at the race, the Boston race, because of cameras. I'm going to tell you something. Mark my words now. And I said this the day after that, as a matter of fact. They will be in Congress, and they will be passing a law that will be putting cameras every 75 feet in the major cities. They're going to have so many cameras that you'll be able to find out where your grandmother did her shopping.
You got to be kidding me. I can't. Bob, it goes so fast when you're on here.
Yes, sir.
And this is, I got the music playing to wrap it up here.
That's okay.
We'll get you on. You know what? I'll ask Karen.
Anytime, man. If I physically can do it, I'll pop back on right away whenever you want me to. I'm telling you, this is exactly what's happening. Karen's listening right now because she Skyped me a second ago. So the next open spot, maybe early next week, we'll get Bob back on. I want to, I want to hear more of this story, and I like the fact that you got your finger firmly on the pulse of where our seeing our ammo and all this buildup and security going. BobFletcherInvestigations.com is his website. Please check it out. If you're interested in his DVDs, you can purchase them there. Guys, stay tuned for Jeff Renz because he is coming up next. We will see you tomorrow night at the same time. Again, thank you, Gary Hindershot, Karen Tostado, Bonnie Bowman. The special offer is still up. We got one left. We'll put the link in the chat and the information in there. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night. Peace.